for bringing running water into cities was developed in the East, clarification needed but transformed by the Romans into a technology inconceivable in Greece. The architecture used in Rome was strongly influenced by Greek and Etruscan sources. Roads. Main article. Roman roads were common at that time, but the Romans improved their design and perfected the construction to the extent that many of their roads are still in use today. Their accomplishments surpassed most of their civilizations of their time, and after their time, and many of their structures have withstood the test of time to inspire others, especially during the Renaissance. The aqueducts could stretch from 10 to 100 kilometers, 10 to 60 mi, long, and typically descended from an elevation of 300 m, 1000 ft, above sea level at the source, to 100 m, 330 ft, when they reached the reservoirs around the city. Roman engineers used inverted siphons to move water across a valley if they judged it impractical to build a raised aqueduct. The Roman legions were largely responsible for building the aqueducts. Maintenance was often done by slaves. The Romans were among the first civilizations to harness the power of water. They built some of the first water mills outside of Greece for grinding flour and spread the technology for constructing water mills throughout the Mediterranean region. Several earthen dams are known from Britain, including a well-preserved example from Roman Lanchester, Langovicium, where it may have been used in industrial-scale smithing or smelting, judging by the piles of slag found at this site in northern England. Tanks for holding water are also common along aqueduct systems, and numerous examples are known from just one site, the gold mines at Lochcarty in West Wales. Masonry dams were common in North Africa for providing a reliable water supply from the wettest behind many settlements. Architecture. The Colosseum in Rome. Main article. Roman architecture. The buildings and architecture of ancient Rome were impressive. The Circus Maximus, for example, was large enough to be used as a stadium. The Colosseum also provides an example of Roman architecture at its finest. Materials. The most common materials used were brick, stone or masonry, some and concrete and marble. Brick came in many different shapes. Curved bricks were used to build columns, and triangular bricks were used to build wall, up to 18 inches of successively laid and rolled layers of concrete. Simicrustra of silex or lava-polygonal slabs, 1 to 3 feet in diameter and 8 to 12 inches thick, were laid on top of the roofs. The final upper surface was made of concrete or well-smoothed and fitted flint. Generally, when a road encountered an obstacle, the Romans preferred to engineer a solution to the obstacle rather than redirecting the road around it. Bridges were constructed over all sizes of waterway. Marshy ground was handled by the construction of raised causeways with firm foundations. Hills and outcroppings were frequently cut or tunneled through rather than avoided. The tunnels were made with square hard rock block. Mining. Drainage. Wheel from Rio Tinto mines. At alluvial mines, they applied their hydraulic mining methods on a vast scale, such as Las Medulas in northwest Spain. Traces of tanks and aqueducts can be found in many other early Roman mines. The methods are described in great detail by Pliny the Elder in his Naturalis Historia. He also described deep mining underground, and mentions the need to dewater the workings using reverse overshot water wheels, and actual examples have been found in many Roman mines exposed during later mining attempts. The copper mines at Rio Tinto were one source of such artifacts, where a set of 16 was found in the 1920s. 12 kilometers north of Arles, at Brical, near Fontville, where the aqueduct arrived at a steep hill, the aqueduct fed a series of parallel water wheels to power a flare mill. There are 2 aqueducts which join just north of the mill complex, and a sluice which enabled the operators to control the water supply to the complex. There are substantial masonry remains of the water channels and foundations of the individual mills, together with the staircase rising up the hill upon which the mills are built. The mills apparently operated from the end of the 1st century until about the end of the 3rd century. The capacity of the mills has been estimated at 4.5 tons of flour per day, sufficient to supply enough bread for the 12,500 inhabitants occupying the town of Arles at that time. Scheme of the water-driven Roman sawmill at Hierapolis, Asia Minor. A complex of mills also existed on the Janiculum in Rome, fed by the Aqua Traiana. The Ararid walls were carried up the hill apparently to include the water mills used to grind grain towards providing bread flour for the city. The mill was thus probably built at the same time as or before the walls were built by the Emperor Aurelian, reigned 270 to 275 AD. The mills were supplied from an aqueduct, where it plunged down a steep hill. The site thus resembles Brical, although excavations in the late 1990s suggest that they may have been undershot rather than overshot in design. The mills were in use in 537 AD when the Goths besieging the city cut off their water supply. However, they were subsequently restored and may have remained in operation until at least the time of Pope Gregory IV. 82744. Many other sites are reported from across the Roman Empire, although many remain unexcavated.